In the biggest upset so far this year, the world champions just lost to T1, a team that was power rated 8th. The team that was the second seed in their own region is now in the grand finals after destroying a world champion team that, to be honest, looked completely unbeatable here. So let's go ahead and break down how EDG lost to the ultimate underdog. Now, I can already hear people going to the comment sections, like crawling in the comments, saying, this wasn't the biggest upset in Valorant history. It was whatever you think the biggest upset in Valorant history was. Yeah, I'm aware, but you know what I do like? I love views. If you're going to comment that, please still do. I love engagement. But yeah, it was probably the biggest upset of the season, though, I would say. But their underdog run in its entirety has been nothing short of spectacular. I mean, you saw like the Platjai rankings where they were ranked 8th out of every single team. They've definitely surprised a lot of teams. I think that their double duelist Yoru Raze is actually very, very innovative. So the issue when you run double duelists, especially on split, is you're normally relying on a solo Skye to kind of support those duelists and set them up. When you have a Yoru, you can use him as the pseudo initiator that people already use him as, but he can also have that help on the executes and to help kind of still fill some of that double duelist role. So you trade a little bit of firepower, but you get it back in a lot more information, which honestly is a lot better, right? I like this comp more than something you might see from like MIBR running an ass pass double duelist thing here with the Jet Raze. I like it. And while they do lose this round, they don't lose many. So let's go ahead and actually break this down. As you saw last round, the reason they won was a smoggy 3K clutching a 1v1. So kind of what you would call a hero play. Something that EDG have the players and the firepower to do, but you can't be consistently winning off of hero plays when the opponent is of the same or just even a similar skill level to you. It's very hard to do. So Kankan goes down here. Now you're in a very odd spot. You have the ramp control, but no duelist to really entry off of it. This nade forces you off to where you're now kind of stuck, to be honest. You could say, okay, execute was a dud, but then you have to go execute with no drone onto another site. So they kind of just sit here. They stay, they wait, a bit of util is exchanged, but when they start hitting the site, a weird pause happens here, right? And it's because, again, you don't have a lot of utility. You had to wait for the rechargeable utility. In this spot here, I think what they should do, and I think it's honestly decently obvious, is go mid. You've shown a ton of presence A. You've died for this space. You know that at least 2 people have to be on the site, right? If they have one person on, they're not going to have one person on the site where they know you are because they're not allowing a 4v1 to happen so that you can gain numbers. At least 2 people are on site. It just does not make sense to me, really. Once you have this rechargeable utility online, to fake this presence up here, right? Just go, oh, I'm going to clear it, blah, blah, blah. They shoot the clone, and now they just go, okay, maybe we should go here. I don't know. You need to go mid here so that you can go and plant the bomb. Because here, what ends up happening is they lose on time. Here's what I mean. Smoggy pops his ult, doesn't see anything, 3v3 situation, and time is getting so low. Meteor gets some chip damage and has to run away, but look, 20 seconds on the clock. As soon as this smoke comes in from his Omen, his objective changes from run away, survive, don't get numbers, to stall them and make sure they don't have time to plant this spike, right? Time is already low. If that spike is ever not starting to be planted when that timer is red, you have a problem. And Meteor just shows it here, right? 1, and the round is effectively over once Chishu dies here, because no competent tier 1, tier 2, or honestly tier 3 team is going to be able to throw it when you have numbers and they have to plant the bomb. As soon as he's right here, I don't even know if he got that off properly, but he has to stick it to win the round as long as just one of them peaks. Boom, round over. And there was a lot of that. Hey, I just got monetized on Twitch the other day, and after this video, I will be live for a couple hours doing probably some Valorant streamings, maybe some Minecraft, ton of games. So if you ever had any questions about VCT, questions you want to ask me, or just want to pop in, hang out, go ahead. Link will be in the description, top of the description. You can also support the channel with free Prime subs or just a follow. So thank you. EDG start out looking like they want to go B. There were 2 eco rounds before this, one of which they actually, for once, were able to eco their opponent instead of getting ecoed themselves. And the next, they were able to hold on, not get ecoed, which is a very big problem for EDG that I think reared its head in this tournament a lot more than people would realize. EDG, even on the champs run, had a lot of issues with ecos. They would get ecoed a ton of the time, and people just were like, oh, okay. I think it was Kankan that said, you know, oh, even in the World Champions run, that was something that was a problem for us, but it's okay because we won champ. Like something along those lines, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that just seems like a very big issue to me that you need to fix. And on one hand, I get it. EDG style of play is very in-your-face, contacty, which is not what you want to be doing on Eco, but you have to be able to say, okay, we need to switch this up. We need to recognize that this is a problem and change it. But instead, they just kind of accepted it, it felt like here. Also, what the community needs to accept is that Itsu is the truth here. His opping has been awesome, and I honestly believe that his Yoru, without it, T1 would not be here. And honestly, that shouldn't be particularly controversial. I mean, he has had a great Yoru, great understanding of how to play the agent, and again, just the comp itself is so good. He's like picking up different guns after every kill, like gun game, and look at these flicks. If Oxy, if Tens did this, this is on like the world stage. This is on the Valorant loading screen as a clip, but it's not because he's a relatively unknown player outside of Pacific. A part of the discourse that I think is very, very just not looked at is Kang had first death 7 times on this map. There is a pattern here. Kang will die first, and then the rest of the team will bumble around looking like idiots before they're finally able to. And this is what I don't get. They are all very capable players of their own accord, right? They have mechanical skill. I'm not trying to diss them at all. All of these players are very good on EDG. But whenever Kang dies first, it just feels like they lose direction. They lose purpose. I don't know if that's an IGLing thing. I don't know if that's just, you know, they can't get off of the style of play that they have or what. But this needs to be addressed and quickly because they still can be championship contenders this year, right? I don't get why in the world we just fall apart when he dies first. Plenty of teams have their duelist die and go, okay, now we take a different approach into the next bit of this round. But they don't, and I don't know why. I want you guys to watch this whole thing and leave a comment about what excuse you can give Kang, because I'll give you an excuse that shouldn't really happen. So 4v3, EDG are able to make it a 3v3. Itsu is stuck back here. Focus on Itsu. He has no gate crash. He cannot teleport out of this spot. Boom. Clone. Now, the excuse is Kang thinks that out of this clone, Itsu is going to run away. And because the opposition is blind, that he's running away, he's getting out of this corner. That is in no world, in 0 worlds, is that an excuse to have Kang run away with his knife out. I don't know what this is, man. It just seems like someone suggested a title in my Discord, link in description, that I honestly think is pretty apt, which is G2 broke EDG. Now, I didn't use that because it wasn't, I don't think, as good as the kind of clickbaity thing I did use. Still not sorry about that. But I think that there honestly could be some merit to that because these are mistakes that EDG were not making when they played G2 the first time or throughout all of regional play. They just didn't make these, but the argument can definitely be made that in regional play, they weren't tested, right? No one of this level is in China except for EDG. And if you're wondering why I'm so frustrated with the thing when Kang dies first, they just like pretend that they've never played the game before, is this. Look at how solid this team looks, right? They're shooting together. They're taking good fights, fighting together, using utility for fight. Like, this is good Valorant, right? Kang died and we stopped acting like he was our father and we just like needed him to hold our hand and we started fighting people, right? And suddenly you went around. Insane, man. Also, that was kind of wild from Smoggy there. He ended up with plus 21, by the way, in a terrible loss. So I really do feel bad for him because keep in mind, your tournament life is on the line. This is the last map. Smoggy's the only one shooting. The Jinx is now, to my knowledge, 4-0. But T1 come in with a pretty much perfect attack plan here, which is, we know EDG stack A on their pistol rounds most of the time. We're going to hit B. Breach is going to be alone, and they're pretty much just going to be cooked. And you're right, there's not much they can do about it, right? The nade allows these guys, Yoru and Raze, to go up mid freely. Now, Omen does have to take a fight here with Viper if Viper chooses to peek out of the smoke, but it doesn't matter. You already got sight for the cost of Raze satchels and a smoke. Like, that is ridiculously easy. Now, it is a 4v4, but once you get in retake, you should have a good chance of winning this round, and they do. I mean, it's just really well played. And EDG have a lot of tendencies on certain maps, as every team does, but this is one that they were able to exploit and find, yeah, you can't run that, right? We can't be running that. If you think G2, like let's say EDG won this game, if you think G2 wouldn't have been able to exploit that, I think you're crazy. Because that's something that I can pick out within 5 seconds of watching this VOD here, and I'm a tier 3 analyst. I mean, this is how you lose an eco round, and with this eco round loss, they lose the game. They don't win a single round. I mean, they didn't win this round, but they don't win a single round after this either. And it all comes down to we're playing with one person isolated on B site without a real way to get out, and that just doesn't work. T1 recognized this, and they go, okay, we're going to crunch it. We're going to raise Satchel, and we're going to be making the only thing he can do. He has a nade rebounding. The only thing he's able to do is peek into us, which is exactly what we want. 1-for-1 trade. They get sight, and then you just trade your teammates effectively. You have more people on the site, and boom. 4v2 retake, you win the round. It's really that easy. And EDG, I mean, you really need to take a long, hard look at your strategies on this map because they just got dominated by a team that I think it's pretty clear is mechanically weaker than you. I don't think it's that insane to say, right? Like if you put EDG versus T1 and put their mechanics as the only thing that matters, I think EDG win pretty comfortably. There's a reason that the betting odds were what they were. As soon as EDG loses this round, the game is pretty cooked. I mean, their buy is already just odd. I guess you're thinking that Smoggy can have a hero rifle next because he's the only one shooting if you lose this round. But at that point, Simon is 3-13. You need to, and I think teams can do this a lot, you need to say, okay, you're the hot hand. We're losing. Smoggy's dropping 20. You're dropping 3. Give him the rifle, swallow your pride, and maybe we'll have a chance at winning. And then you can, wipe your tears about having to drop that rifle with $100 bills. Instead, now they're headed home, possibly to... Okay, I can't say that. I can't say that. But Smoggy here not having a rifle is just... I don't get it. Nobody's forcing up. Simon's forcing up. Like, Chichu isn't going to be able to buy next. None of these people are going to be able to full buy next. But Smoggy, for some reason, needs to adhere to that. I don't know why. Match fixing? I'm just kidding. I don't think there's ever been any serious match fixing at the tier 1 level, which is very, very good. I think that franchising was good at kind of that part where now you don't have to worry like you do in like tier 2 of CS about, is a match being fixed or whatever, because all the orgs are pretty reputable. And the prize pool's big enough to where you're not going to make a lot of money on match fixing. Anyways, with that ran out of the way, 11-5, T1. I mean, this just shows everything wrong with EDG in about 5 seconds. They do a trap play, say, Kang, you're the only one that can save us. Please save us. Put him on an island against 4 players. And then when he dies here, everything just goes to shit, right? Simon, 3-13. Glad you have your Pookie Wookie Bear rifle, dude. Really, really impactful, as you can see from those shots. Kang dies. Ray's satchel's in like he's on that pure crack cocaine. And then boom. I mean, you've pretty much lost the round that you forced up into. You have like 100 credits to your name. I mean, it's just over, right? They're going to call a timeout for the last round. Let's see if they can pull off the NRG 12-5. Again, I know I'm crashing out of the economy. You are pie. He has 20 kills. Let's use our brains here, please. People have pointed out a big problem with EDG is that they will occasionally gamble stack and just say, okay, we're going here. We're going to use a huge amount of utility. Hopefully they're here. And congrats, you called the timeout. They are here. They are going to be on the B side. The issue with this is you have to win the fight after the trap play. And while at first it looks like it might go okay, right? You get that kill. Then Buzz pops ult, holds him back. And at this point, you need to say, okay, we've done damage. We need to back off, play the 4v4, right? We got their Yoru down. Their entry is low. Let's lock in. But they don't. Instead, they say, okay, let's keep fighting this, keep fighting this, keep fighting this. They lose this fight. And now Chichu, over on A alone, he had to go from mid to A here. I mean, he had no chance to be involved in this fight. Free sight. And while you can say maybe he has that molly, so does Meteor, and as soon as his bomb is planted, it's going to take you at least 10 to 15 seconds to get here, right? He's walking. It's going to take him a ton of time to be able to make it here. That's 15 seconds here. You expect him to somehow, in about 20 seconds, clear all of sight, kill these 2 players, and then leave enough time for the defuse. You're crazy. That's just not going to happen here. And as you can see, he's looking around. He realizes, wait, no one's on site. Doesn't know where to look. Whiff, kill, dead. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to my members, especially Crunchy Water, and my other 2, Crunchy Water, Atlas, and Velveteen for the memberships. Go ahead and support the channel if you want to do it like that. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.